Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Stamping with Suzie Q. My name is Sue Sanders, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. Just a very exciting thing that I want to bring to your attention is May 2nd and 3rd, Stampin' Up! Is offering 2 times the rewards. Yay! So if you would normally get $5 in rewards, you would get $10 if you order on May 2nd or 3rd. So that's pretty exciting. They just kind of popped up with this. So that is that is what's going on this weekend. Um, I think it's kind of sort of to celebrate National Scrapbooking Day, which is May 3rd, I believe. Um, I can't keep up with all of these dates in my head anymore. All right, so let me get rid of this. That was just a wipe off board expo marker. Yay. I got it figured out that I can write on my glass mat and then wipe it right off. All right. I am really excited today because I had a couple of new viewers from last week, and one of them was chosen to win the cards that we made last week. So these were the cards that we made. We made the book fold card, and then, of course, I'm leaving the blank inside. I'm not gluing it down so that you can stamp on that. And then this was the other card that we made. Okay, so those 2 cards are going out to YouTube viewer Vicky Morales 33. So Vicky, if you are out there watching the replay today, please send me your name and address to Suzie Q's stamping at gmail.com, and I will get those sent off to you. Just another as a little reminder, if you do come in, please put who you are, what your name is, so that I know the names of our participants or our people that are watching the live. Don't forget to comment below so that you can have a chance to win the beautiful cards that we're making today. I am using a brand new suite of products that will be available in May as an online exclusive. When I seen this set, it was like, oh my gosh, I really, really like that. So let's start out with showing you what the embellishments are. And this suite of products is called the Floral Impression Suite. And you get these beautiful strawberry slush and petal or pretty in pink, I'm sorry, pretty in pink gems. And they're kind of flat. They're not real big and high, but you get these beautiful gems, and we're going to be using those today on our cards. The other thing that is so amazing is the stamp and die set. So here's the stamps, and these are the dies. These are all the dies that you get, ladies. There are 20, got to put on my specs so that I can see, 25 dies to this set. And we're going to be using a lot of them today in our cards. I love this. Probably I would call it the modern oval die cut simply because it looks like our modern oval punch. But it's a different size of a die, so I really like that. Like I said, we're going to be using both of these in our cards today. It also comes with the pressed flowers embossing folder. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there you go with it behind it. So you can do a lot of different things with this, and I've seen some things done that I'm going to do some short reels on how to use some different inks with this. So that comes in this suite. You also get this really pretty pack of Euphoria. So they're gold Euphoria. And you get, let's see, You get 6 sheets of those. So you get 6 of all of these frames and then the gold that goes behind them. We're not using these today. I couldn't get them incorporated into my cards. Now for the loveliest part of this suite, besides the stamps, of course, is the designer series paper. So you do get 12 sheets of designer series paper, and this is one sheet. I've just cut them down to 6 by 12 so that they'd be easier for me to look on the or to show on the camera. So here is one side, and then here is the other side. It's a yellow checkered print. Then we have the print that is the fern and the sunflowers, which is really pretty. And on the other side of that, we have some, this looks like the cloud cover, and it has little dots around it. I don't think you can really see it that well. I love this piece. And then on the back of that, it's, I believe this is old olive, and it's stripes with dots in between. Here's the side that has all the floral print on it. Lots of different colors. And then it comes with the strawberry slush with this print. We have sunflowers and another green design that has little circles all attached to it. Then we have this piece. And then this is fresh freesia, and it has little a design on it as well. So that is the paper that goes with this suite. All right. And that will be available in May. Today is May 1st. So we don't have too much longer before I can actually open this catalog to show you the wonderful products out of it. Okay. So this will go live on May 6th, I believe. I was thinking that it was May 5th, but I'm seeing it May 6th. So I can't wait to show you this lovely catalog. Okay, a lot of my customers that got them sent to them have already responded that they've received them. So that's always exciting. Another stamp set that I want to show you, and that is the Elements of Text. And this is an online exclusive. It came available in January this year. But it's kind of got those stamps that you don't really read the words, but you can use those behind other elements such as flowers or butterflies, things like that. You could even stamp a greeting on top of this if this is light enough. So that's another set that I got. Okay. All right. Let's start with our first card, and it is a gatefold card. So it has got a little bit of a fun fold to it. So here's the card. The happy birthday is from the Pattern of Friendship set. I really like this set. It's got some nice fonts to it, and it has some nice greetings in it. So we're going to be using that for our happy birthday. And then let's see, which one am I using for the time to celebrate? Oh, I know. I'm using this one here, which is a retiring set, Round We Go. And I believe that was an online exclusive, and it is being discontinued. But I like the time to celebrate. It fit on my die there. So let me show you how we're going to put this card together. Set that aside. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, because this card is cut at 5.5 by 11. Got all my bits in it. So this is my card base. So it is 11 inches by 5.5. And the directions to this, or the instructions for what size cutting cardstock and designer series paper that you need, it is in the description below. All right, so we are going to score this piece at 2 inches, 3 3/4 inches, 7 1/4, and 9. So relatively easy. I'm just going to go over those scores again. So that is 2 inches, 3 3/4 inches, 7 1/4, and 9 inches. And you can use your Stampin' Up! Trimmer, or you can use your scoreboard. I like, whenever I have a long piece of paper, I like to go ahead and just use my scoreboard when I'm scoring. Now we're going to fold in. Get my bone folder here. Make that crease nice and good, and then we're going to fold this side out. Increase that very good. We're going to do the same on the other side. Fold this one back. Okay. And then it joins together in the front, just like that, which is just perfect. We want it that way. You will notice that there's a little bit of overhang on the 2 sides, but that's okay. I would rather meet it up here. So I like this dimension and scoring that I found. So it's going to open like so. So we'll set that aside. Now we have in our bits, we have our oval that was die cut from our dies for the impression florals. I believe, what is it called? It's the Impressions of Bloom dies. This is a piece of basic white, and it measures 3 1/4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to be for the inside of our card. Then we have 2 pieces of designer series paper, and they are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, and those are going to be on the outside of our card. Then I thought I had, Dorothy, would you please get me a piece of scrap white? I want to show them how I did my flowers, but we've already got them cut out. I just need a scrap of white. So like I said before in the start of this, we're going to be using the dies and the stamps as well. So on this card, it doesn't have to be very, very big, just big enough for my stamps.
I ran over my dog.
You ran over your dog, not
Now
me.
she's got an attitude.
Oh goodness, thank you. All right, so how I did my flowers on this, a piece of scratch paper here. Move all my good bits out of the way so that I don't have to worry about getting ink on them. All right, I just took a piece of white, basic white, and like I said, we have lots of stamps that we use today. So we have almost all of the stamps out of the stamp set. I hope everyone is doing well today. This is the first, well, it's not the first, but last week I went on at noon because I had a meeting, and Dorothy and I talked, and I'm thinking that I am going to do my Thursdays at noon. If that time doesn't work well with you, that's okay. You can watch the replay then anytime that you choose. All right. So the first thing that I did was I took my strawberry slush and I did it out of my big flower. So I'm going to stamp it. Oh, that's not the one I want yet. I found it easier to do my inside of my flower first, and I want that one to be the darker color. So I'm going to stamp that like so. Then I took my full flower and I'm going to stamp it off. The second generation is what I want. So we'll stamp it off. And now to line up, I look for this largest little petal here. And I'm going to put that right where it goes over my stamp for my inside. I didn't get it quite even, but you all get the gist. And it's okay if it's not even because flowers are not perfect. And neither is Suzie Q. All right, let me clean these off real quick. So that's how I got my strawberry slush flower. Oh, that wasn't even the one I used. Okay. Oh, here it is. Cleaning stamps that didn't even need to be cleaned. All right. If you all make a card like this, please post it out there on my Suzie Q's Facebook page. I would love to see how you create things. Now, let me show you how I did my yellow flower. Like I said, I'd already had these stamped out, or I stamped them and then I had them die cut so that we just didn't have to bring the die cut machine over. And for this one, I'm using Daffodil Delight. And I am going to use the inside of the flower. I'm going to use it, the first generation, like so. And then again, I'm taking that long petal here and I'm going to line that up, but I'm going to stamp off. And I think for this one, yes, I use the second generation. So stamp it off. And now I'm going to line up my stamp. And an idea that you could do is put a little mark with a Sharpie pen on your stamp so that you know right where they line up. Okay, that you can line those up and have them on your blocks the way they need to be. Okay. All right. Now, the rest of it, until we get to the inside part, the rest of it, we're just going to put together our flowers. But let me show you all the little tidbits that we have. Now, I will tell you when we get to the next card, these little centers are really quite, whoops, I didn't even get that partially centered, did I? They are very tiny. Here is the little one, little teeny tiny. And in order to cut these out, you have to have two dies. I kind of like that. All right. I am looking forward to this afternoon. I am going to start designing the cards for my stamp class in June. I'm excited about that. Okay. All right. So then here are the leaves, and I did take and stamp these, and then there's a die cut for these. So there's how the leaf stamps. There's also dies that will cut out, and I'll show you that in the second card. Okay. All right. Let's get to assembling the card. All right. While we have our ink out, let's go ahead and stamp the inside of our card with our happy birthday. And we did that in Misty Moonlight. I love this big, bold happy birthday. And we're going to do it right about here in the center. I may have got this a little bit crooked. No, looks pretty good. Well, you never can tell. Then to decorate the inside, I'm going to take the small little flower, which is like the big one, but it's the smaller one. And we are going to, my neck really hurts today, and I don't know why. We're going to take our strawberry slush, bring back our scrap paper again. We're going to do it just the same way that we did before. Our dark pink, and I want to just make sure that I'm lining these up the way I need them to be stamped. So we're going to stamp that down in our corner. And now we're going to take that strawberry slush again, and we're going to stamp it off. And we are going to then stamp over our inside of our flower. Isn't that pretty? I just love how that, I love the two-tone stamping on this, and you're able to get several different colors, shades out of one ink. And I did need that leaf. I thought I did. Oh, come on, they're sticking together. Now we're going to take and we're going to stamp our leaf. And I'm going to stamp one right here to where it kind of goes over the page. And I just put it up real close to my flower. And then I'm going to stamp one right there. So there's our flower. And that inside that we're going to do, I did it in the green, but I didn't really like it. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight for my center of my flower there. There we go. And one thing about it, they're photopolymer, so you can see through them. So it makes it a lot easier stamping, double stamping like this. Right, clean off these. I have one more thing to stamp, and that is our greeting on the front. So have any of you ever, like found a stamp weeks later? Well, I did today. It was attached to one of my blocks, and I hadn't realized it. And it's just a little teeny tiny oval. No clue at all where it came from, what stamp set. So I have to search. All right. So for our next thing that we have to stamp is we have to stamp our front. And I found that I wanted to put my flowers on the left-hand side where it opens. So I was going to stamp my Let's Celebrate or Time to Celebrate on the right-hand side of my oval. So I'm coming in again with my Misty Moonlight. And I'm just going to stamp it down here towards the bottom, like so. And then we are done with the stamping on this card. And the assembling of it is very, very easy. Oh, I lied. We do have one more thing to stamp. We are going to stamp in Versamark. Now, if you wanted to, you could definitely add designer series paper to these panels on the inside, but I decided that I just wanted to do some Versamark stamping, and I didn't want to do more paper. So we're going to take our card base, and I just folded over these two so that I have, oops, that's not the way I want to do it. I folded over this one, and I didn't care if there was any ink that transferred onto the center, because most of that is going to get covered up with our white inside with our greeting. I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I'm just using the open stamp, the one that has the detail in it. And I'm just going to start randomly stamping and put 3 of these flowers on each side. Oh, there goes my one light. It's got a timer on it or something. I think it has a heating element, and it won't allow it to stay on if it gets too hot. And we're going to go over here and we're going to do the same thing on this side. And you just want to place your stamps wherever, and it just gives it that little bit of texture look. Now we're going to come in with our center, and we're just going to do that with the Versamark. And this is where, because I can't see very far away from me, I'm going to see if I can get these as centered as I can. It might be a little bit off, but you know. Y'all get the gist. I really do like and enjoy having my cards all cut and then stamping them and putting them together. However, it doesn't always work out that way whenever I'm designing. One of these days, Dorothy will take a video of me designing the cards and how big of a mess I have. Because I'm telling you what, I have such a mess. All right. So let's lay our paper down on each of our sides. And I'm just going to use my Tombow glue. That's silly. And this is just in one of my bottles that have a precision tip to it. I have to fill this up. Okay, so don't forget to comment on the cards so that you have a chance to win them. We will have the drawing next week and give them away on Thursday when I come live again. For those of that, you can join me tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time. I always do my coffee chat and a card. That's where we do a sketch card. And I show you the sketch, and then you can follow along with me in cutting your paper. We can go ahead and glue our inside into the middle of this. And this is a kind of card that you could dress up a lot. If you wanted to, you could put a belly band on this. However, I chose not to do a belly band. Okay, so now that's how it's going to fold up. Now let's work on our front. Okay, so that's where we have our die cuts. So I've already die cut my flowers. I have 1 strawberry slush and then 2 of the Daffodil Delight. I have 1 leaf that I stamped and die cut, and then I have my 3 centers. So we're going to go ahead and glue our centers down, and there is 2 different sizes. There's one for the big flowers, there's a big center, and then one for the little centers. They're not hard to cut. I'm going to show you a secret in how to cut these out that makes it a lot easier than the way I was trying to do it yesterday with these cards. So there I have my centers in place. I wonder what the weather's like down in Florida and up in, oh, Nanette, I can never remember if you're from Michigan. I think you're from Michigan. My brain just doesn't work. Now I want to have my green part of my stem attached to my brown inside or to my flower on the outside. You could do it this way, but I just like the looks of it this way because it's kind of like that little part that holds the flower on the stem. So we're going to put a little dab of glue on the back of both of these stems, and that's a die cut that you get with the set. And I just kind of move this around until I see a good spot that I want it to be. And then I place it down. You might have a little excess glue that we'll have to get rid of later. But there's one. Now we'll take our second one and we'll put it behind. So it's already kind of behind one another on that. Okay. Then our second stem, which is just a single stem, I'm going to do the same thing and put that on my big one. And I'm going to do that right here. Oh, let there be light. My light came back on. Okay. Now we're going to take our oval shape here and we're going to start to just lay these down. And I don't want a whole lot of this flower overlapping because that's going to be part of what is opening and closing the card all the time. But I kind of want it on an angle. And then I'm going to put these two down like so. And then we've got a leaf that we're going to attach. We're going to attach that down here at the bottom underneath. So that's placed first. And I know that seems kind of odd, but what I'm going to do now is I've turned all of these over. And so I kind of know where I have to place my adhesive. So I'm going to go ahead and place my adhesive down. And I did a little bit too much over on this. So I'm going to take and wipe that off because that's going to hang over just a tad bit. So I just took a wet wipe. It'll dried out because I can always add more glue to that. And now we're going to lay these down. Give me your flower. And we're going to trim off our stems. But there's our flowers. And now I'm going to take and just put a little tiny bit of glue along the edges of their stems here. Not a whole lot because it will ooze out. And because I glued on top of that single stem, that should keep it in place. Okay, so there is how we did that. And I'm going to trim off the excess stems down here at the bottom. Just going to clip them right off because we don't need those. I'm going to take some of the linen thread and tie me a little bow. I gotta fix my camera because it's been moved. And I'm having to stretch too far. Whoops, stay in there. Sometimes you just gotta play with your twine and get it to do what you want it to do. Pull that knot really tight. I don't want a great big giant bow. I just want one that's going to be dainty. You know, one thing that's different is I don't have my camera set up as high as I have been having it. So that might make a difference. I think I might have to change and go back with that. Now I'm just going to put this down with a tad of glue. And my tweezers are going to hold it in place for just a few minutes. Okay, so we're going to let that set there for a minute until we get ready to put it on our card. We can go ahead and add our embellishments. I just love these pink embellishments. I'm going to use my multi-pick tool here. And I've got 3 of the strawberry slush on my front piece here. I've got 2 dark ones and 1 light one. So we're just going to follow through, and these are the medium ones. So there is a dark one, and here's a light one, and another dark one down here. And then I also have a couple of them on front of my card, and I put the white ones there. So we're going to use 2 of the larger white ones, and one's going to go there, and one's going to come down here. That way I still have my 5, which is an odd number. And we are now ready to put this card down. I only want to glue it on half of it. So I know it's going to be this half that I want to glue. So I'm just going to put my glue down on it. And here again, if you don't get it over quite far enough, you can always add more glue to it, but it's really hard to take it away. We're going to open this up and lay this down. No, we're not going to do that because that would make it backwards for me. Disregard that. We're just going to lay this down. I can do it. Halfway. And straighten it out. Look in the back. Make sure that you don't have any excess glue coming out. And we don't. So that was a good job, Sue. Okay. And there we have our birthday greeting. Nice and spring, summer looking. Okay. I hope you all like that card. And it wasn't that hard to make. It really isn't. All right. Now for our second card, we are doing where we used stamps and dies. On our second card, we're going to use a lot of the dies to make our front. And we are using some of the designer series paper. And I'm using the exposed 3D brick folder because it just gave me a nice shape or a nice background. I didn't want a floral background to it. So this is the next card that we're making. So we took that die again and I cut it out, and we're going to cut this in half. All right. We have a piece of old olive that measures 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. So this is going to be a landscape card. Then we have our piece of basic white that is 5.25 by 4, and that's going to be our embossed piece. This is our inside piece. That is 4 by 5.25. And these are just our bits. So I can show you how to work these dies. Because like I said, we have some very small dies. So for example, this is the inside of the large flower. So it's actually 2 pieces. Okay. You have the circle that will die cut, and then you have the inside piece that gives it a texture to it. Okay. So what I found out yesterday that worked out very well for me was I placed them upside down in my hand or on the table. Then I took a piece of my Scotch reuse it tape. I can't even think of what it's called, but this is what I use for my die cuts. And then I was able to keep those two together the way they need to cut out, just like so. All right. So now those two dies are together. I did that with the small one too, because believe me, if you drop this small die, see how little that is? I mean, that's tiny, tiny. And I dropped it on the floor yesterday and I thought, oh no, I've just ruined the whole set. But I did that as well. So I did tape those two together. And then all I had to do was stick those down onto my pecan pie to do my die cuts. Okay. Now I'm not going to cut these out because my darling daughter has already done that for me. But I did want to show you how I did each one of these because there's two pieces to die cut. So here is the large flower, and here is the large flower center. Okay, so you have to just kind of play with this and see how it fits. So those two fit together just like that. And then I take my tape and I put them together and then put them down on my paper. You know, you might have to straighten them out a little bit, but at least they're kind of stuck together and you don't have to worry about one of them getting lost. So we'll do it this way instead of in my hand. And this will also give you a better or more even die cut. So you might just move it over a little bit on that paper. There we go. And then you can just lay that down on your paper to die cut. And you do the same thing with these. Now, this one here was a little bit more tricky to figure out how it went together, but working at it, you can definitely figure it out, and then you just tape it together. Because you just look at where those, I think it's there. There we go. So it's not too hard. Okay. So you all get the gist. And remember I said that the leaves had it too. Well, here is the leaf. So that is just the outline of the leaf. But if you want the inside, then here is a little teeny tiny inside. Like I said, very small. Don't want to lose them. And so I taped those together to give me the different look. Then there is also two of these that, oops, there's one of my, that's my second one. You get two of these and they're different. And then here is the regular leaf that already has the embossing when it cuts. So, but that's how all of these flowers go together. So I suggest just play around with it, tape them together before you start die cutting. That way, when you do take them off, they are stuck to that paper, and then you can poke them out and you're not as likely to lose your little teeny tiny dies. All right, so here are all of my bits. I have my big flower and my medium or my small flower that's going to go on the center. Then I have my leaves, and I have plenty of leaves. And then here is my pretty and pink flower. And what I did, because I kind of wanted to bring out the colors of these, so I took my sponge dauber, and this is peach pie, and I just went around my edges. I did get a little bit carried away. So we're not going to get carried away today. Just to give it some highlight of a different color, a darker color. So this is a trick that you can use. A lot of times you can do this on your designer series paper or on your, so I'm just going to dab it in the center a little bit just to have it a little bit darker. That little center is going to cover it, but it will come out from the lines. And then I'm just doing the edges again on the other pink flower or the other peach pie flower. Just go around all of it. If you can get down in the corners or in the crevices of it, but it's not necessarily necessary for it. Not necessarily necessary. Oh my gosh. All right. So that is my peach pie. Now we're going to do the same thing with my pretty in pink die. And I'm not going to get as carried away as I did with my example, because I did get quite a bit of pretty in pink all over it, and that wasn't my intent. So on this one here, what I'm wanting to do is just kind of come out from the center where those lines are, where those embossed lines are, and just give it some darker look to it. It gives it dimension as well as some highlights in color. So there is that one. All right. And then for the inside, let's go ahead and stamp on the inside and our thanks. And we're doing that with Memento Black. So here is our thanks. And I am just using a piece of scrap paper, and it measures 3/4 by about 2 inches. But I want to stamp not quite all the way to the right, because we're going to be trimming this off. So there is our thanks. And then on the inside of our card, it says, so very much. So here is the inside. So very much. We're done now with that memento that I could probably make a good big mess out of, and I don't want to. Now we are going to stamp, and I have to pull them from my other set over here. A little flower. And we're going to stamp it in the peach pie, but I am going to stamp it off because to me it's a little bit dark when it's stamped full strength. Did I do both? No, I didn't do both, but I think for this one I'm going to. Here is my, there's the inside. So we're going to do full strength down here in the corner with that one. And then we're going to do stamp off. Yep. Excuse me. And we're going to see if we can't get this the right direction. That's it. It's always difficult to do this upside down, or not upside down, but so far away from my face. Okay. We're going to flip that over. I don't like that. I don't think that's going to show through. Let's double check. We are not going to use the peach pie. To me, it's just a little bit dark. Let's use our pink one. Clean this off. And because I have it over here on the back side, we're going to stamp right over that. And that way you're not going to see it. All right, we're going to do this one. I'm going to do this. Let's play around here a minute and see how we want to do this. That's the first gen. That's the second gen. Didn't show up as much. And we're going to go into here, and this is second gen. That is still just really kind of dark. Not necessarily wanting. I had this issue yesterday. I just wasn't liking my. So I think we won't do the big outline. We're just going to do the little inside part. But we're still going to do it with the pretty in pink. Okay. Guess we really need to do the outline because otherwise it doesn't look like a flower, right? May have to go get me another piece of white paper. Yeah, see, that's just, it's not giving me the effect that I want. So I'm going to get another piece of paper here. And we're going to do something else. So I have an extra peach pie flower that I did when I cut these out. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to use my peach pie ink. And we're just going to kind of go out from the center a little bit. Not too much. And I also have, I believe, an extra little circle. So we're going to first find my tweezers where I stuck them at. There they are. We're going to do this on the inside for our decoration because I just wasn't liking my colors. Have you ever done that where sometimes you just feel like, that's just wasn't the look I was going for? Okay, and I have extra leaves. So we're going to take a leaf here and we're going to glue it down and we're going to have our little flower. I think I'm going to use a smaller leaf that I have extra of. There we go. And we're going to do it that direction. So sometimes you just got to redo things as you're making it. When you don't like something, you got to go, okay, let's try again. So we're going to go our leaf there. And then we're just going to take our flower. And we're going to take another leaf. Just because it looks kind of strange. We're going to put that leaf there. Then we're going to just take and glue our little flower right there in the corner. And I probably should have stamped my greeting so that in the event I mess it up, I'm not out the flower. But we're going to do it. Just going to take the chance. Live on the edge. Okay, I have a fly that's not wanting to leave me alone now. Come on, fly, go away. Thanks so very much. Very good. I didn't mess it up. All right, so our inside of our card looks wonderful, right? All right, let's close up this. We're done with our inks. We are ready now to put the card together. All right, so remember I said that we have to cut this piece, put my bits back in here so I don't lose them. We have to cut this piece in half because we're going to use half on each end. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in. And this measures approximately 4 1/8. So I'm going to cut it at 2 inches and then trim it up if necessary. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't even do that in camera. So there, I just cut it in half. And now I'm going to put them together. And I'm about, oh, I don't know, a 16th, maybe an 1/8 of an inch off. No problemo. We're going to take and snip those to where they are even. Could have counted the squares, I guess, but that would have been difficult. Okay. All right, so then we're going to take these and we're going to lay them down on each side of our embossed piece of paper. And we're going to put them right up next to the edge with the circular part going towards the center. This is a card that you could also do portraits if you wanted to, where you would have your half oval going up and down. There's that fly again. Guess it is that time of year. People going in and out and in and out. And the flies find a way to come in when you're going out. Come on, my fingers are not wanting to work today. Flip this over. Lay this piece down. Kind of making sure that I've got them somewhat even, which I think they are. Okay, so now we have that. Now we're going to bring back in our bits because now we're going to arrange our flowers. All right, like I said, I've got extra bits here, so it's not a problem. We've got this leaf. It's going to go up here, and we have another leaf like that. See, these are the ones that you have that inside piece. These are the ones that just cut out the whole piece, and then it's got the stem or the flower veins together. And then I have 2 of the other ones that I cut with inside pieces. No, I guess I don't. I guess I used one. That's okay. We're just going to use 4 of the same kind. And these are going to go down here. This one is going to get attached to this with a dimensional. So these do get applied with dimensionals. So I'm just going to use some dimensionals. And we're going to put a dimensional in the center of that little flower. And then we're going to put it on top of our big flower. Like so. Okay. Then we're going to take another dimensional. And we are going to glue first. We're going to glue our little leaves on here. And then I'm going to use a dimensional to help hold those leaves down. Not any particular way. We're going to come in with our dimensionals. It's sticking to my hand. We're going to put one in the center. And one there on those 2 leaves so that they will puff up. Sticky one doesn't want to come off. Come on now. All right. I'm just looking here. Yes, I got that one popped up too. All right. So that one's going to get laid down there. Now we're going to take our thanks and we're going to kind of lay it in here. We're going to trim this off. But I don't want to trim it off too short yet. And we're going to just cut this on an angle. And this is going to get laid flat. Just like that. So we're going to glue that down. Come on. That's going to slide right up under that big flower. And that's going to get glued on. Now we've got our pretty in pink flower that we're going to do our leaves on. And it doesn't really matter how you place your leaves. I just like it better with 2 leaves on them. Some people might only like 1 leaf, and that's personal preference. So there's our leaves. Now we're going to take our dimensionals again, put 1 in the middle and 1 over those 2 leaves. So those leaves are popped up as well. And then we're going to take this and we're going to place it kind of underneath our other flower. The last thing that we have to do is take our little insides, and this is where I just need 2 small ones because I covered up that big flower with a small one. So the big one looks too funny. So there is a little one. And the second one. Okay, we are now going to, whoops, came off on my fingers. Let's get a little bit more glue on that so it sticks. There we go. Okay, now we're going to lay this down on the front of our card. And I'm going to use glue because this is embossed. And so if I use glue, it gets down into those crevices and it holds it better. So I do use maybe a little bit more glue on these embossed pieces that I'm laying down just to make sure that that doesn't pop up. Lay it down flat. And this is some of that DSP from the Floral Impressions Suite. And these are my extra little bits that I will put in a bag and save. Because those insides are a little difficult to die cut. Now we're going to come in with our strawberry slush and pretty in pink dots. And we are going to use 3 of these. So we're going to put 1 there and 1 there. And then we're going to bring 1 in and bring it down here to that side. Okay, now we just have to glue our inside into it. Excuse me, the allergies, I tell you, the pollen is just awful. That and the change of weather. Oh, there goes the light again. Must have it. I've ordered a new light. I can't wait till it comes in, and it's going to go over my glass mat. So hopefully, I will have better lighting directly over me. So there is that. Now we're going to take our Wink of Stella pen, and we're just going to kind of flick some Wink of Stella just to give it a little bit of shimmer. We're not coloring it all in. We're just kind of taking that tip of that Wink of Stella and flicking it over those lines, doing the inside of that. And we'll do the same thing to the flower on the inside. Okay. So there we have our 2 cards today. Clean all this stuff up so that you can get a good look at them. Okay. There is a picture posted with this video. So there you go. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope that a lot of you will watch the replay. I don't have very many people watching the live today. Please, 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 if you're watching the replay, just say watching the replay. Make sure that I know your name. Some of you have just left comments, but you're using your YouTube login and I don't know your name, so I can't acknowledge you. And then if you do win the cards, I don't have any way of getting a hold of you. So please let me know what your name is. You don't have to give me your last name, just your first name is fine. And then if you do win, then I will reach out to you under your comment that said you win and that you can send me a private message. All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining me today on the replay or on the live. I appreciate it. Oh, hello, Maria. How are you? I didn't even see you come in. All right. So you are in Puerto Rico. So I wonder how can I send cards to Puerto Rico? I've never done that before.
Because they're United States.
Okay. Well, send me your email or send me your address and I will get last week's cards into the mail for you. I'm so glad.
That's a different
No, it's not.
Maria.
Yeah. I think that was it.
No, because speaking Morales.
Oh, I'm sorry, Maria. It is a different Morales. I don't know. I appreciate you giving me your name. But for commenting, let me know what you think of the cards that we made today. And you could be the winner of these cards. All right. Thank you all very much. Don't forget coffee and chat and a card tomorrow on my Facebook page, Suzie Q Stamping at 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time. Y'all have a great week. Bye.